Welcome to Groundhog Day, or another day where the Nasdaq falls 260 points or 1.35% on average 50-day volume. You can see the Nasdaq here. I want to zoom in because on Friday it had this inverted hammer candle, which kind of indicates, the next day probably would be expecting more selling, which we got on Monday, and it closed with another inverted hammer candle here. The low was at 19,275 and it closed at 286, so just barely off the low. So that would, expectations would be there's probably more selling, and that's what we got today. But today it took out the low of 19,141 from February 3 and approached this low from January 13th of 18,831. So I would call that a test of the low. And then, some bulls came in and supported that area. Will it retest that area? Probably, but it needs to hold that 18,831 here. The bulls need to hold this area here. It just came within 40 points today. I think what was it? 871, 18,871 was the low. And then some buyers came in. So maybe they'll come and retest that tomorrow and then bounce and have a little reversal. But we've had 4 days in a row of pretty heavy selling here. I mean, it's not capitulation selling. It's not really panic selling. It's just kind of drip, drip, drip selling. It feels like liquidity's coming out of the market, just gradually going lower. And that's what the Nasdaq's doing. I wanted to point to a weekly chart because today's low took out, like 5 weeks. Count them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of lows until we get to that week of the 831. So that would be an area that to watch. Now, I've said, historically or seasonality, this is one of the toughest weeks of the year. So, you can't expect a whole lot of strength. But we can see on a little 5-minute chart here, just drip, 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 just sell, sell, sell the last 4 days. So anyway, what's going to turn that around? The Bulls are going to have to step in, and we got, I think, some decent news after hours tonight. But anyway, I wanted to always take a look at earnings. Earnings is what really drives, your stock price appreciation over time. And last night we got some earnings from some companies, and it wasn't so great for Hims and Hers, down 22% below the $40 level. The Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, have got there's no longer a supply constraint on their weight loss drugs. So Hims and Hers will not be able to sell their compounders, which is kind of a big deal for that company. They tried to downplay and say it's only like 10% of their sales, which is like, I don't know, 200 million, but Wall Street's not buying it. Another one that reported, this is one that our Congressperson Nancy Pelosi had some calls on. She probably cashed them in already. Down 15% after our earnings, down below 60. So that doesn't look too good. Another one that reported last night was Zoom Communications, and obviously a negative response to their earnings, down 8%. Who else reported? Oh, Home Depot reported this morning. Nice response. Now, this is a Dow Jones component. The Dow Jones was up today. I didn't bother showing it because it's only 30 stocks, price weighted. And when you get stuff like Home Depot at $400, Walmart up today, and then United Healthcare, which has been a wreck, but it's a $470 stock. So on a price weighted index, it carries a lot of weight. It was up nearly 2%. So yeah, I don't put too much weight into that index. Anyway, Planet Fitness reported, and I guess somebody fell off their spin cycle bike or whatever. I don't know. Definitely going the wrong way here for Planet Fitness. DigitalOcean reported, had a good response this morning. I didn't follow it today, but yeah, up 10%. Nice. Nice move for this software names. The software stocks have been getting pummeled. Any growth stock, any momentum stock has just been sold. So it's been a brutal market. I know people are saying, oh, the SPY's only 5% off its high, but a lot of these growth stocks are down, 30% or more. I'm going to show you some of those in a minute. Some of the more, defensive names like Dr. Pepper, they had a nice day anyway. I don't know why I showed that. I know what I wanted to get to was donuts. Donuts and Dr. Pepper. That's what works, right? This is Krispy Kreme, and it was down 22%. I blame the weight loss drugs. Yeah, people are getting healthier in this country, I guess. Anyway, they're not eating any donuts. So anyway, no policeman jokes here. I'm going to move on. I talked earlier about some of the growth names that are just getting punished. You can talk about, the indexes aren't doing that bad, but I mean, come on, this thing's 17% off of its high in just, a few sessions. That's pretty brutal action there. Palantir, another one, just made a high on what, Thursday, the 19th, Wednesday. And now it's 30% off its high from like 4 sessions ago, man. That's just I know it went up, it went up fast, comes down fast. I get it. Overvalued, I get it, but man, that's pretty tough to take. Shopify, another one, had a good report, had a nice move, and now below its 50, just these software names, these momentum and growth names down 14% off its high in a very short period of time. And then Bros, had a strong report, had a nice move, and now it's pulled back to its 21, doing better than most, but still, I mean, just, being sold out of favor. This one's 16% off its high in a very short period of time. You're looking at, 3 or 4 sessions here. All right, now that is bad, but not as bad as the Bitcoin or the digital currency stocks. These things have been getting mauled. You talk about carnage. I talked about the triage last week. This thing's down 54% off of its high, 52-week high. Just, yeah, I mean, in no man's land, just getting completely pummeled. Coinbase, yeah, below its 200. So, these, it seems like I'm just speculating or talking out loud that it seems like liquidity's coming out of that market for, I don't know who's doing it, doesn't matter. And it shows up in the charts, when you see, Robinhood, they had a nice report. I remember after hours, yeah, it was like 67, $68. And what last Tuesday it was 65, and now a week later it's 45. I mean, this is just punishment. And it's just a tick below its 50, but down 31%, very short period of time. Stairs up, elevator down. So anyway, those the digital currency stocks are just radioactive. You got to stay away from 'em. And enough of the carnage. I'm going to move on. What is working? Or I lied. Once again, I lied. More momentum names. The nuclear stocks, which had gone nuclear, are now they're radioactive as well. NNE. Oof, that is rough. SMR reports this week, 27th, which is Thursday. Yeah, this doesn't look good. And then the Tiger stock, Gorilla. Yeah, well, it just made a new high on Friday. And let's see, and it's nearly 30% off of its high from Friday. 2 sessions, folks. And that's how fast it happens. That's momentum names, these big, high average range, daily range. Yeah, it cuts both ways. On the upside, it's great. On the downside, not so much. All right. I said I wanted to get to some more positive stuff, and I'm going to because the insurance, which is, this is it's a defensive market. Cash is a position. Cash, is king. And it's okay to be in cash, if you don't want to short the index, cash is fine. This one looks pretty good. PGR Progressive, Bros. I put this one on the ready list today. Not that I'm going to buy it, but it's if you want to own something, just a quick trade, not a bad move. RS line heading due north, and then Gallagher. The insurance stocks look good. And then what you talking about, Willis? Yeah, this one, could be put on ready list near an early buy point there. 332, yeah, 334 is a standard. So yeah, Willis looks pretty good. These insurance names are just defensive in nature and doing well. And the market is trash, so we go to trash. And Republic Services, they pick up your trash, and the stock is just trending higher quietly. Nobody talks about these things. I mean, they're kind of boring, slow growth, single digit. But this is waste management. I mean, kind of like a safe haven when the bullets are flying or when the growth stocks are getting crushed. There's a flight to safety in this type of stock. Waste management is a flight to safety. Also, I mentioned Walmart had a nice day today. Some of the food stocks are considered a flight to safety because you got to buy food, right? Under any circumstances. This is Costco pulled back to its 21, and you want to talk about, off its high, 2% off of its high. So barely even budging in this tape. Another one is a Kroger, the Safeway. Yeah, okay. Yep. This it looks like I made a new high today. Yeah. So yeah, those stocks are strong. MKC, I was going to put this on my radar list this week, and I did, and I just wanted to limit the number of stocks, but it looks pretty good. Up nearly 2%, that 82.25 point. I could put it on tomorrow, but right now it's, 4%, 4.3% above its 10. And this type of environment, I'm not going to do that. Maybe if it pulled back a little bit, but that's the type of stocks, these defensive names, including the utility names, extremely defensive. This is a Duke Energy, then WEC, another one. Yeah, just making new highs. FE, I believe they report this week. First Energy tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Uh, nice move with inside the base there. And then CMS, another one of these utility names, and breaking out from a base. So just trying to show some strength that not everything's getting killed. Eli Lilly, drug stock, we mentioned that on the Hims and Hers earnings call that they said they're no longer going to sell their weight loss drugs. This is good for Lilly, which it's filed lawsuits against the compounder. We've heard stories that, of impaired vision with these weight loss drugs, but there have been people that have died from the compounder. So they're much more dangerous. And that's a pretty harmful side effect when you die taking drugs. So anyway, Novo Nordisk, eh, I talked about this one. I like Lilly because it's stronger. How do I know it's stronger? Well, just take a look, juxtaposition these two charts, right? This one's above its moving averages, building the right side of the base. It's been like 27 weeks of this consolidation. Nice cup shape pattern. Where Novo, is still delivering, 20%, earnings and sales growth, which is not bad, but it's been punished. Biden and Bernie dragged the CEO through Senate hearings. And anytime, I've said this many, many, many times, anytime you have a stock that gets involved with politics, it never works out well for the stock. It's funny how that happens. And this thing's been dragged. I think it's going to come back. I think if you got it at 80, you're in good shape. I think above 90 here is it's making above the its moving averages. I'm going to take a minute here. 89.97, call it $90 here above the 50, the downtrending 50. But now if we look closer, you can see the short-term moving averages. The 10 is ticking up. The 10 crossed above the 21. And you can see the RS line is heading due north. So this thing's showing strength. And for me, I have eyes on this. It's got to close this gap here at 102.74. So if you buy it at 90, 91, call it, and it goes to 102, that's a $10 trade, 10% move, whatever, 12%. Not bad. I think it could do that at the very least. Um, yeah, 102. Yeah, and not a great trade, but you can see, the big blue volume bars coming in here. There's some buying here, some nibbling here. This is a quality company. Peter Lynch talks about knowing what you own and quality companies and having a strong stomach. And this is the type of thing that he's talking about, and possibly a turnaround here. I don't think this thing's going away anytime soon. Uh, Lilly and Novo have a duopoly on that weight loss area. Amgen is trying to butt in though, so I'm going to take a look at Amgen here. Yeah, Amgen looks good too. Some of these drug stocks are perking up. I've been mentioning Gilead like every day. This thing's on a roll. Real heater here, 4.3 above the 10. I wouldn't be buying it here, chasing it, but just acknowledging strength. And if I switch the green line to the 5 EMA, I could bet that it's pulling back to the 5 every time. Let's try that. You want to make a bet? Drum roll, please. Gilead, are you that strong in this kind of a tape? Yeah, look at that. Just pulling back to the five every time. So, that's one of the stronger stocks that I could find. That's pretty darn good in this tape. Anyway, Jazz is another one. Jazz Pharmaceuticals. Yeah, making a new high today. So there are some drug stocks. One of my favorites is TGTX. I think they're gonna later on this week they're gonna have some news. I think they're gonna blow the roof off their earnings. So you have to hold it through earnings, which is always a huge risk. That's a risk environment, but I don't see why it can't get back above 34.50. Let's call it 35 this week or next week, if whenever they report earnings, probably next week. All right, enough of that jazz. All right, the bank stocks, finance stocks. This is a mortgage consumer loan stock. Mr. Cooper, this one is showing strength. Just Kelly Slater stock surfing its moving average is looking pretty darn good. Deutsche Bank, this is a yeah, German bank doing really well, making new highs. There's been a lot of stuff in the news, about oh boy, just a lot of news hitting the tape, and I think it's kind of got the tape a little confused here. Bank of Montreal, BMO up 4%. Obviously, I'm not going to say anything, just acknowledging strength here. And then BRKB, Berkshire Hathaway, they reported over the weekend, had a nice response on Monday, and during a weak tape, this thing's showing strength. So maybe has trouble with that, psychological 500 number, but Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway doing a great job. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Kind of a short video today. Not a lot going on. I don't want to show all the damage, and I'm just showing you some strength. This too shall pass. So keep your head up. Don't get your dauber down, and be positive. Not false positivity, just be positive. All right. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except for in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing, and that's tonight's earnings reports. Got a ton of them. This is Sterling. This is one of those data center build out plays, up 2% after hours. They reported tonight. I didn't see the report. CAVA, I did. And yeah, 96, not bad. It was down to 90, so came back a little bit. Same store sales were really strong. I think they missed on revenues, maybe or earnings, just slight miss either way. But same store sales were pretty good. So maybe it'll, pull back to that 100 level and form some sort of a base, I hope. It wasn't that bad of a number. I mean, pretty decent. It's just it's an expensive stock. This is Axon, which got absolutely pummeled last week. Now reports tonight and is up 12%, which, 12% is great, but it's 31% off of its highs just from last week. So, yeah, take away 30, give back what, 12 or 13. Anyway, good report. So congrats. That kind of justifies, or I don't know what the hell that move was last week, to be honest with you. Just a sign of the tape. It's treacherous out there and it's dangerous. First Solar reported. I don't know why they're up. Their report was awful. Lucid reported. I don't know. I should show Lucid. CEO stepping down, 7% on a $2 stock. Oh, Maple Bear, Instacart. Yeah, they had a earnings beat and a revenue miss. You don't want revenue misses. You could fudge the earnings, but you can't fudge sales, and not too good for that one. Lemonade, down. Okay, forget about that one. Sezzle, for Sezzle. Okay, 15% move. Nice little cup with handle pattern here. Going to break out tomorrow. All right, that looks pretty good for Sezzle. What else do we have? We got a lot of stuff here. Into it. This is what I mean by tomorrow. Maybe we get a little bit of reprieve here in software, which has been absolutely murdered. This is into it. You can see this thing has been sliding for a long time here, up 6% after hours. Workday, another, these are big companies here. 68 billion market cap, up 10% after hours. What's the market cap on Intuit? 155 billion. So those are not small companies. And then ZETA reported after hours, oops, down 8%. I soured on this stock when it had a reports of accounting issues. I stay away from stuff like that. I don't need that in my life. All right. I'm going to move on. Tomorrow morning we have Lowe's reporting in the morning. Yep. NRG, which is one of these utility names, so it'll probably be a good reaction. We'll see. Advanced Auto Parts reports in the morning, and then U, which is Clear Secure reports in the morning, and then STLA reports in the morning. But everybody's waiting for this is Chrysler, Jeep, and Maserati, Alfa Romeo, Dodge, and then of course a stock you may have heard of reports tomorrow afternoon. I think all eyes are on this one, um, NVDA, and it's going to impact stuff like Broadcom. So if you want to play, that move in NVIDIA, you could play it through, I don't know, instead of playing it directly, you could play it through one of these stocks that has just been kind of slammed, AMD. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.